5 or 6, I saw Forrest Gump for the first time. And if you haven't seen it, watch it, it's amazing. And for me, basically, that was it. From that point on, I was all into beautiful stories and life as a concept, you know, things you create with people, experiences, memories. People were the thing, and the love and the power of meeting them was basically my greatest passion. What happened after that was, I was quite good at it. From the stage of being 5 or 6, I didn't know yet that I will grow up to want to make the same films, you know, talk about Forrest and those stories, but I was all into that. I was all into this beautiful concept, and that was what I wanted to commit my life to. And the thing was that I didn't have much money in general. I was raised in a really, you know, not really wealthy Polish family. Despite of that, though, I still managed to get through many experiences, friendships. I never had a problem with that. I even managed to get into an amazing international high school in India and graduate from it. And yeah, life was good. Life was good up until the age of 18 when I graduated. Yeah, when I was in India, let me just show you. This is me in India. You can see the difference in my hair. There was this event happening in my school every year, and it was called Bold for a Cause. What Bold for a Cause is out of community of 250, every year around 20 to 40 people decide to shave their heads. They decide to shave their heads for charity, for children, for wigs for children with cancer. And I was so fascinated by this event when I first saw it happening, because I saw it on the internet, you know, it wasn't a new thing, but doing it on such a large scale was something that completely changed my perception of it. And no one at home would understand it. Everyone was like, why would you do that? It's insane. And so that was the thing, that I really wanted them to understand what is this event. I really wanted them to see what I saw in my first year of 2-year course. Because what I saw was this amazing support people get, this amazing love, and it was much more than losing hair and changing your looks completely. It was something that I couldn't describe with words. So when it was happening in the second year of my 2-year course, I thought, I need to show it, because no one got it back home, no one got it outside the school, and I wanted to tell the story. I felt it's really strong and really powerful and worth sharing. And I thought the best way to do it is to do it via film. None of my friends did film professionally. We had no idea how to make a film, but I just, got a group of friends together who were interested, and I was like, let's make it happen. And we did. And it was really well received around circles of United World Colleges. It was, seen on YouTube, and I was so fascinated. There's something really addicting in telling a story via film and reaching your audiences. You don't know who your audience is. You don't know how, regardless of the distance, regardless of the miles you're from them, they will still see what you saw. And I found it so powerful and so interesting. And this was the time when I decided to pursue the dream and make a living of filmmaking. And the thing is, back home, no one really make a living from arts in general. Everybody would be like, okay, good luck. And that's the thing. That was the thing that no one told me, Sonia, you can't make it. But no one told me I can either. And while being in this international high school, I was really inspired by having so many nationalities, having so many countries in the same place. And I felt it's not time to go home yet. It's really not the way it should be. And then I decided to apply to US colleges. I looked at many film schools in US, and I was I was having all those beautiful websites, and with this spark in my eye, I thought, oh my God, how awesome would it be if I got in? And I found 2 schools that I really enjoyed and I really liked, and I thought, well, let's see what happens, let's apply. And then a letter, next thing I remember is a letter coming from New York University, which for me was like an Ivy League for filmmakers. I was like Woody Allen, all of those people, and it was like, yeah, that was the thing. And the news was good. I got in. Then another letter came from another university. I was all in. And I was so happy. I was like, oh my God, me from Poland, living in India, and going to US. Oh yeah, that was the thing for me. And then another 2 letters came, and those letters were regarding financial aid. And that wasn't the good news anymore. Soon it turned out that I thought I'm going to university, but I really wasn't because I couldn't afford it. And because I only liked 2 schools, and I didn't get enough money to attend any of them, it turned out that I had to take an obligatory gap year. And the thing about me is, at the time at least, I was so obsessed with planning. I had my whole big plan of what I'm gonna do. Like, I was really good with projects in school in general, deadlines, applications, yeah, that was my thing. So having a whole year ahead, I remember talking to it about it to my friend. Having a whole year and a half almost ahead of me, and no plan, no money, no anything, was really exciting, but also really scary at the same time, because you can do everything, everywhere, and that's the scary part. So yeah, I had no money, no plan, and also a gap year meant no more scholarships, right? I was in this high school on a scholarship, and that wasn't really the case anymore. So soon I graduated, and due to lack of better options, I came back to Poland, I came back home, and I thought, it's okay, I can apply next year. I don't know what's going to happen if I still don't get financial aid. It's okay, I'll work on my portfolio, that will be fine. But there's the thing about coming home, that the reality and the real life hits you, and when it hits you pretty hard. So soon I found out I have, again, no money, I could get a job, I have no equipment to work on my portfolio, and US, the longer I stayed at home, the further away US felt for me. New York University just seemed like, yeah, it's something I can't really reach, and I can't really make it happen. So, yeah, then soon after that I came back home. None of my friends did film in their circles. No one was really artsy, and I didn't have that flow as I had when I did make a film about people going bald for a cause. I didn't have it anymore. I felt so uninspired, and soon I started to feel the need of being reasonable. I was like, okay, this is not gonna happen. What we can do, universities in Poland where I come from are free, so let's apply to a Polish university. Let's get a job. Let's have it. Let's do it. So ironically, I applied for American studies. It was the closest I could get to my American dream. And yeah, I got into everything that I applied for, top positions. I had pretty good grades. Nothing felt as wrong as it did, really. I felt this is a safe option. This is something I can definitely go for. And it just felt so wrong. I was like, no, this is not happening. So as soon as the summer season in Poland was done, because I got a job for the summer season, I was like, it's time to move. Let's go. I don't know what is. I just had the need. I need to go. I need to leave, and whatever I do is better than just getting this safe world, safe life. Just life in Poland was happy, like waiting for me to start, and I just didn't want to come back home. It wasn't time to go back home yet. So I thought, okay, great, let's move. I have no money to start with. Nothing really particularly tempting anyway. I can do everything, everywhere. And I didn't know, but I knew 2 things. I knew that I have a couple of friends in London, and I also knew that job in London is quite easy to get. Based on the amount of Polish people that work there, I was like, if everybody can do it, I can do it too. So yeah, I turned in my salary into £300, because that's average monthly salary in Poland. I bought one-way ticket, and I remember talking to my mom about this, and my mom is just one of those people who are the most supportive along the way, but this time I had no plan. I was going to start living in a foreign country with £300, which is not a lot even for the deposit for the flat. So she was a little bit concerned, let's say just a little bit. And she was like, so, how long are you going for? And I was like, I don't know, Mom. Could be a week, could be a month. If I don't get a job, I'll have to spend £300 on a ticket back or something. But it's just not my place and my time to be here, and I have to make a move. So I made the move. I thought, in my head, it all worked all right, because I had a place to stay for some time, and all I needed was a job, and then everything would sort itself out. What I didn't know at this point was that it would also, make me have panic attacks in the middle of the night and almost go through really heavy depression and won't make me comfortable. That I didn't know. I just thought it was going to sort itself out. And then I moved to London. I found 2 jobs within 2 weeks, and soon it all started for me, basically. I was working 55 hours per week. I was trying to make enough money to start to pay the rent. And I didn't know that being an adult in a foreign country I just didn't think about it, means all the adult dilemmas apply. So you have to manage taxes, you have to manage, bills and savings and rent and all of that stuff. And the problem is that you can't, once I took this step, it wasn't time to go home because I just left it. So I come from a background when I used to be a young activist and a school project leader. I just, I was used to change the world with projects, applications, deadlines, projects, that was all. But this time, working 55 hours per week, I hardly could afford the luxury of going home in a decent hour and watch the news because I was working all the time. And the problem was, it's okay to work hard. It's okay to work hard in the jobs, low salary jobs, if you don't want anything else, and if that's what you wanted, and if that's, that's the plan for yourself. And I just didn't know what I want to do. I was just like, well, I still want to be a filmmaker, but I can't even make enough money to pay the rent. I have no portfolio, no scholarships, no equipment, none of that. So it made me soon really unhappy because I thought there's no purpose to it. I can't answer myself the question, why am I doing this? Why am I working so hard? Because, it's really easy to say, oh, I went for a gap year, I moved to London. But the reality, again, hits you pretty hard when you mop a floor in a pub wondering, so this is what my gap year is, 12 hours per day. And I survived 3 months of living like this. I thought, I'm just not gonna go to university, it's just not gonna happen. I was so stuck, and I started feeling so lonely, because also working 12 hours per day, I didn't really have time to make many friends. So soon, of course, as expected, my mental health wasn't that good as well. I would wake up in the middle of the night, feel really alone, because I just felt like, what am I doing this for? What is really going on? And, at the verge of depression, the world was no longer my oyster as I thought when I was leaving, and it wasn't comfortable, it wasn't fun at all. And then I just gave up. I was just like, I'm just gonna keep on doing this, whatever that means. I just felt so stuck. I had no other way out of it. And then something broke in me. 3 months was enough, and I was on Facebook during my free time, very few moments when I had free time. I was on Facebook, and I saw this last-minute ad to go to Jamaica. I didn't pay the rent yet. I had lots of money on my account, and I was like, yeah. So I wasn't a responsible adult at all. There was no plan. What am I gonna do afterwards? I still had a job, and I kind of had to tell them, I'm going to Jamaica for 2 weeks, okay, bye. And I did. And I went to Jamaica because I just had this need of changing, this need of moving, because I was so stuck and I had no other way to go around it. It wasn't responsible at all, and I just did it. And I will remember sitting on a beach in Montego Bay and just thinking, this whole pursuit of happiness, this whole expectations I had towards myself, this, need of making something out of myself, being, good and achieving, those whole expectations and the timeline that I imagined for myself were just so upsetting. And this pursuit of happiness made me so unhappy. I've never been as unhappy before. And yeah, I just completely rebooted myself. I said, screw it, and I went to a party. And it's not probably what you want to hear, but I came back broke from Jamaica. I had no money, and I was like, well, I'm not being a responsible adult at all. I'm failing on so many sides. But the first time in 4 months at that time, I felt this inner peace. I was like, I'm actually starting to listen to myself. And I don't know, I have no idea what's gonna come up of that. But I'm doing it, and it's happening. My mom wasn't judgmental, and that was surprising. No one really was judgmental. People were like, you're crazy, I don't know what you're doing. I didn't know either. And after that, I started doing 2 things. One of them, I spent countless hours on Facebook. Second of them was, I hated my job so much, I didn't mind being kicked out of it anymore as long as I didn't work there. And let me surprise you, both of them did me so well. The thing was, I was on Facebook one day. It all seems to be starting with Facebook in my life. I was on Facebook one day and I saw this advertisement. British Film School, starting next year at the time. Really innovative equipment, really putting effort into putting you straight into industry, really making stuff happen. And the best thing was, I was eligible for full student finance. So I set up an appointment, went to British Film Institute to meet them, and they said, Sonia, would you like to come and share your energy with us? I was like, that's nice, yeah. Okay, I'll do that. So I suddenly was into university, but still, like, I was struggling financially. So I left my job. They didn't really want me to see that anymore after I came back from Jamaica anyways, after leaving them for 2 weeks. So, yeah, it just sort of happened that I didn't have that job anymore. So I was jobless again. And the thing I did, I thought, I can work in retail, I can apply for any ambitious jobs, but I wanted to clean. I was always good at cleaning, and it pays off so much in London, I'm just gonna do that. So, my first client was a really amazing person in Notting Hill in London. And I worked in for standard bedroom cleaning, and we had this vibe, we got along so well. And then when I came to clean her bedroom for the second time, she said, Sonia, do you know this person, this film director? She just did a film about India. And I was like, yeah, I do, because of my India-centric background. I knew very well who she was. What I didn't know at this point was that she was going to hire me as her personal assistant in central London with a rent-free flat, full-time in the film industry. And there was something amazing. I can't imagine, like, I still don't understand how did that happen and how lucky I got. But suddenly, going from verge of depression, I got a job. I was into a university, and there was such a great feeling. I just couldn't, I really didn't know how it happened. And yeah, now I'm a first-year student of filmmaking in Screenology Film School in Bristol, United Kingdom. I still work as a personal assistant to a film director who really got really far with her film India's Daughter. And yeah, and life has been really good for me, but I don't know if you care. I don't think you do, actually, because it's my small-scale, really personal story. But the reason I'm here to talk to you today, the reason why I came here and shared my story of going on Facebook and going to parties with you, is that as Forrest Gump's most famous quote is, life is a box of chocolates, you never know what you're gonna get. I want to encourage you to take those chocolates and try the flavors you don't really like, because that's basically what I did. I want you to stop being so obsessed with expectations you have towards yourself. I want you to stop planning for a while. Sometimes just step out of bounds and just go into unknown. Just leave everything behind. I'm not saying move to London and get depressed, but whatever works for you, really. Whatever works for you. Just don't overthink stuff. Don't plan into a very last minute, because you never know what's going to happen. You might get really lucky. And yeah, I went to London. I moved to London on my gap year, and I failed. I failed desperately. It made me really unhappy. But I think if I really got into NYU with full scholarship, and if I went, I wouldn't be the same person as I am today. And I think it's really all about failing. To be honest with you, I encourage you today to fail as much as you can, because those failures are going to teach you much more than any other success, any other best university, or any dream job for you. So that's my message for you today. Thank you.